The moment you decide to create anything, it is like deciding to climb a mountain. You set your course, and it's time to get started on the adventure. And admittedly, you have no idea what you're doing. My channel has gone through Avatar: The Last Airbender and Haikyuu content. And now I want to do Studio Ghibli content. And the first thing I wanted to do was recreate my background from Haikyuu to Spirited Away. I have no idea why, but everything went wrong. It took days just to figure out what kind of paper would work in my Cricut machine to actually cut successfully. Once I figured out what kind of paper and which settings worked, sometimes it would take a whole hour just to painstakingly take out the pieces to actually show the image. When I finally got to gluing them on my backdrop, it was messy. I had to figure out a glue that wouldn't wrinkle paper. I didn't have the right room and the right type. I didn't paint over the tobe for Fly from Haikyuu, and it all just became such a mess. Anxiety, second guessing, and a heavy dose of procrastination. I decided that this was not for me and that I would pivot and try to do something completely different. The thing about doing something completely different is that it's just as uncharted as when you first started out with your first idea. There's no guarantee that you pivoting is going to make anything better. And as I was trying to do something completely different with my background, that became so painfully clear. And ultimately, I sat down and I asked myself, what do I want to show people? What am I doing right now that I am so excited about, that I think would be helpful and fun and hopefully can help people with? Which led me to a semi-spontaneous trip to Japan. I leave May 1st. I won't be back until June 1st. So I'll be taking one whole month just traveling out through Japan. I'll be starting the first half by myself, and the second half a friend is meeting up with me halfway. There are 3 things that I know I want to do in Japan. One is wolf. If you don't know what wolfing is, wolfing just means that I'm going to be going to an organic farm in the rural areas of Japan and helping out the family farmer with whatever they need, to planting potatoes, to harvesting, to helping with livestock. Anything they need, planting rice. I would love to work on a farm that makes miso and walk you through that whole process of how miso is made. I will be showing you actually how to set up a wolfing site and how to do that in English and in Japanese. So I'll be showing exactly how to set up a site so you can find these organic farms and the conversations that I have with the farmer prior to actually arriving at their farm. Another thing that I know I want to do in Japan is visit the host town that I lived in. I was there in Japan for a whole year 5 years ago when I was still in university. I was in Hyogo prefecture. One of my favorite prefectures is Kobe. Love Kobe, cannot wait to go back to see how much has changed or has not changed. I would love to go back and to see my host family. It's been 5 years since I've even talked to them, so I will show you exactly what it's like to get in touch with a family that you only knew for one whole year and then lost contact with altogether. We'll see how that goes. I also want to be able just to explore that town. I really love the town that I lived in. I had a job while I was in Japan too. I taught English to kids. I got paid way too much for it because I don't know if I was just in a rich place in Japan at the time, but they were paying me way too much. But I will go back to the place that I work just to stop in and say hi. The next thing I want to be able to do is go on a bike ride in the rural parts of Japan. I know this might be crazy. I think when people go to Japan, they will have an itinerary like filled to the brim. The goal of this trip is just to be surrounded by Japanese nature as much as possible. I fell in love with Japan from just the nature places that you can go to that are just absolutely stunning and bring such a peace to me, I think. And that really is the goal. Honestly, this whole month trip is going to be dedicated to wolfing, visiting my host family, hopefully in the host town I was in, and going on bike rides in Japan. I'll be showing you everything that I'm doing prior to the trip, which is only giving me 2 months to raise and find as much money as I can before I go. All the things I'm doing to make money, setting up a wolfing site, how to find fun Japanese things that are not expensive. It's actually way easier than you think. And then when I finally go on the trip, showing you guys what I'm going to be doing, what my itinerary is like, and then the aftermath of that too. And if any of that is interesting or fun to you, then I'll see you in the next video. So long, Hotman.